From Champions League qualification to a bottom-half Premier League finish, Newcastle United are facing serious questions about their direction. So, what has gone wrong, and can they fix it? Hello, I'm Daniel Wales, this is North East Football TV, and this is your breakdown of where things are going wrong for Newcastle United, and whether they're actually capable of turning it around. Let's start with the bigger picture. Since the 2021 takeover involving the Saudi Arabian Public Investment Fund, the club has made huge strides, including 2 Champions League qualifications and a Carabao Cup win. But the 25-26 season has marked a clear regression, finishing 12th in the Premier League. That was not part of the plan. And the issues are not confined to the pitch. They begin in the boardroom. Last summer exposed serious structural problems. With no sporting director in place and no CEO following Darren Eales stepping away, Newcastle entered the transfer window underprepared. Deals stalled, targets were missed, and the squad ended up weaker in quality, despite increased depth. Newcastle also struggled to compete financially with other top clubs. High wages elsewhere meant they repeatedly lost out on key targets. And ultimately, they were forced into difficult decisions, including selling Alexander Isak. That combination proved costly. There are now signs of change, however. With David Hopkinson as CEO and Ross Wilson as sporting director, the club appears to be more structured. Recent business, including the sale of Anthony Gordon, has reportedly been handled with greater professionalism. But the real test comes next: recruitment. Instead of chasing expensive Premier League proven players, Newcastle may return to a model that worked before, recruiting high potential talent from Europe. It's a smarter approach, but one that requires patience. On the pitch, problems are just as clear. Newcastle have become predictable. The 4-3-3 system that once defined them now looks rigid and easier to defend against. Against deep-lying teams, Newcastle have struggled badly.
Eddie, you started Nick Voltemada and Johan Wissa for the first time together today. What did you make of their performance as a two?
It was okay. I think there were some good bits and there were some bits that maybe weren't so good. I think it's only when I review the game that I can really, truly give my opinion. I wanted to do it in a game that I felt tactically would benefit us. I felt that was the game today to try that. I want the option to sort of go to it in running in a game at some stage. I don't necessarily see it being a regular for us, as in a regular starting system, but who knows? If it worked really well, then of course, then the chances of that would go up. But I thought both players tried to make it work to the best of their ability, and I thought Nick was particularly impressive with what he gave the game physically, having played all the minutes.
You mentioned you wanted today as the tactical opportunity to try that together. Does that suggest that you're perhaps wanting to be more versatile in terms of how teams who come here, perhaps if they sit deep, you're wanting to have better ways or to try and beat them and break them down?
Yeah, I mean, I know I've had a couple of questions where people think we play the same way every game, and nothing could be further from the truth. We're always, and we have a game plan for every single game, and those game plans are different, and they have to be because the opponents are so different. So we have loads of different ways of going. One of them has always been 4-4-2, sort of off the ball, has always been something we've liked to play with. When they were fit, Alex and Callum did it a number of times for us, so it's not a foreign system for us. Joe Willock's played that way with one of the available strikers this season. So yeah, it's always an option, and you need as many options as you can in a long season.
There's been a clear lack of creativity, particularly in wide areas and attacking midfield. Pace and power alone are no longer enough for them. Defensively, the drop-off has been just as concerning. Once one of the league's strongest back lines, Newcastle now look vulnerable. Injuries, including to Fabian Schär, haven't helped, but individual errors and inconsistency have played a major role. There are also questions for Eddie Howe. His in-game management, particularly substitutions, has at times felt predictable. And with limited tactical variation, Newcastle have struggled to adapt mid-match. Off the pitch, supporter experience is another area for improvement. From pre-match atmosphere to engagement with fans, there's a feeling the club could be doing more, especially for loyal match-going supporters. So, can Newcastle actually change? The answer is yes, but only if improvements happen across the board. Better structure off the pitch, smarter recruitment, more tactical flexibility. If those pieces can come together, Newcastle can get back on track. But if they don't, this season may not be a one-off, but the start of a deeper problem. For more football analysis and breakdowns like this, subscribe to North East Football TV.